So what we're going to do is introduce some of the people in the team, the kind of go over the upgrade process, integration, and implementation, changes to expect, the timeline, and what to do if you have questions, and what changed in the specific modules, and then we'll have it open for questions. So this is the main users, or the main people who were part of the upgrade. I'm not going to go ahead and name off all the names, but you have a presentation with you in your. I sent it to the email. The ACBI team is my technical team, and we had done most of the work for this, but we can't do it without our SMEs or our subject matter experts, all of you guys out there to help us with this. So with that, I'm going to bring in our technical lead, project lead for this, Tiffany Chang, and she's going to kind of give you a little overview of what's involved with this upgrade.
We do first? I think we go second.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, no, we're going to do this part.
Okay, yeah. We do both first.
This is the technical part.
Oh, it's the technical part. Whether you guys can see here clearly, okay, the original, the orange part, the first one is our data source current production database, HCM. We have one PeopleSoft. Currently, we reside all student record information and all our HR information and payroll information all in one. That's very one and very nice one. And those functionalities, since we closely coupled together, so we function for the past 10 years, we feel good. But since our Chancellor Office have a new other initiative on Quiz project, so sooner or later we need to split. And this, before we split it into a campus solution and go to Quiz project to combine 23 campus. Okay, Jenny will explain that far more in detail. That's her specialty. So today I just focus on our technical part, how we do the preparation for the future Quiz project. The first, before we go to Quiz, we have to separate the campus solution and the HR payroll system. So our Chancellor Office, the strategy is to do the upgrade of the current instance. So you can see the second blue part here. You can see here, we do they copy over the production into one instance. Then we start to do a true upgrade for HR instance. Okay. Yeah, here, here's the point. So you can see HR here, split, during the split processing, the only thing that happened to HR is to upgrade. And we also have a two upgrade on the campus solution. So it's two upgrade plus application upgrade. We upgrade from 9.0 application. Currently we have now to 9.2. So it's a double tag for our campus solution side. And this time for the HR, the impact is more minimum than the campus solution because behind the scenes the complexity are the same. Front end for HR users, you probably don't feel much about the difference. The major thing is everything technical challenges all happen behind the scenes. Why? You can see here from this one, HR, whatever we currently have is in there, and the CS, after two upgrades, empty database. So whatever our campus might, including our query, okay, 12,000 query, we have a PeopleSoft, 12,000 query combined with the HR and the campus solution. It's all in one. We have to copy over everything from the HR instance to go this instance campus solution. So that's the technical challenge behind the scenes. We have one instance currently. And after December, when we split it, we will have two databases, two PeopleSoft database and applications. Behind the scenes, we still need to make them both act like one. Okay, that's a challenge behind the scenes. Next one. The campus solution HR, so we can see from the first one, our current instance, we have student, and we also have the employee all in one database. That's the ID part is no problem at all. All the functionality, all the query reference to each other is very close, coupling each other, the data side by side with each other. After splitting, you can see here, after December 12th, 18, after split, we have two PeopleSoft. One is yes, campus solution, another one is HR, human resource management system, PeopleSoft. And you can see all our identity, all our people, all our students have to reside in both databases before HR go to the quiz. That's the third one, the quiz. You can see here from there, student will no longer exist in the quiz, but the employee data will go. So the most challenging part is after split, before we go to the quiz, there's a lot of things we have to, campus have to take over with us, and to make it still continue to function two as a one. Okay. Okay, here is the split, the application, the project scheduling. As you can see, this project almost takes us half a year. We are the Wave 1 campus because our Q2S. So we cannot like other Wave 2, Wave 3 campus. We have to take the Wave 1. And normally when we are Wave 1, that means we will have more challenge than other because whatever Wave 2 school will learn from our experience. And just like right now, Soloma already went live. We already learned a lot from them. Something will not work as you expect, and there is something always overcome, get things later on. So CNS Central, after they go live first, they learn a lot. They also give us a lot of experience. You have to do that. Okay, a lot of advice from those couple schools, such as the Roma, Marine Tides, Domingo Hill. They are all went live before us. And we're gonna went live. Our schedule, we started this project implementation on June 19. We did the insert to source. Then we start working with them for the past one. The past two, it's already passed. We already finished it. That's September 20. And the past three instance, we give the insert to source. That's November 1st. And right now we are doing our past three validation last phase. So for our schedule, that's December 14, we can start our MTP processing. So, okay, so since we are in the schedule, so I changed it a little bit. Okay, our project implementation plan during the MTP day. Okay, you can see here. We will notify all our users. Pretty much our core user has been notified. They have to finish all their processing and they have to log out the system by December 13, 6 o'clock by the end of business day. But I know, because for us, we all know, okay, sometimes it's so many things we need to do. By 5:50, before we leave our office, some people will file out some processing the last minute, okay? That's why we have 6 hours, okay, for us technical to clean up all the processing, make sure all the processing before we shut down the database for upgrade, everything has to be run, finished, completed. Because we don't want to hear any processing in the middle of the processing, it will jeopardize our data integrity. But for the student part, because they only doing the viewing and research class, that's very small. 1 minute processing, so we don't mind to give them more service until the midnight. And so between the 6 o'clock to midnight, it's our technical focus to make sure all the processing, new functional people, administrative user running have to be run smoothly and close gracefully or finish the processing by the midnight. And the student, we will allow them to operating the system, login to do their viewing, the class schedule planning until the midnight. Then and the grades, do their grades maybe. Okay, until the midnight, then we shut down their processing. So pretty much everyone will get locked. We lock down the whole database, no longer have any people get locked into any processing by the midnight. Why we need to have 6 hours ahead of time before we turn over the instance to source, because we need to make sure everything, the preparation before we turn over the database to the source, we have a lot of technical processing we need to do behind the scenes. So you can imagine during the midnight when you guys are in the sleep, we technical work, we have to make sure the next day 6 o'clock in the morning everything is smoothly shut, give it the instant to the source. So that's the 14. You can see there's around approximately 3 hours for SOS, okay, our central CMS project team, Chancellor Office project team, they will do the upgrade sprint. After 40 hours, we expect if everything runs smoothly, we expect they will give the instance back to our technical folks by Friday midnight. So it means we technical team we will have 24 hours to do migrate everything, do all the configuration from our HB instance, because everything for the human resources is upgrade. You have a application upgrade. It's just take the tool upgrade. So everything we have to copy over from, migrate over from the HB to the CS, and we need to recompile and get a solution environment ready for our technical, our second tier technical team to do the QA. After the next day, the Sunday, oh yeah, I forget, one thing I forget to mention, we will have a monthly, the database uses and maintains 6 hours. So there will be sitting in my mainline. We only have 24 hours. We don't have to complete everything technically. Then keep the database gonna be shut down again for the monthly maintenance. Then source will return it to us Sunday morning, 17, Sunday morning, 6 o'clock. We have 2 hours, get it, double check and make sure the system in instance all access is okay. Then for 8 o'clock, our technical, the tier 2 technical team had to do the QA, quality assurance. And by the afternoon, the last one, there will be, okay, our core functional team, they have to log in to do their quality assurance. Hopefully, if everything runs smoothly, by 5 o'clock, we should be able to resume all our batch processing, regular batch processing. So to prepare for the next day, open the database to the all users by 8 o'clock. If something happens, we still have the time. Yeah, ideally the schedule is 5 o'clock, but we still have one night to get everything resolved. Then in the next day, 8 o'clock, to return to report instance. I forget previous. So here is a couple major changes. Okay, I will not mention a lot, but it impacts all of us. Okay, all of your favorites will not be there. So before the upgrade, we will send a reminder to all our administrative user. Okay, make sure you take a screenshot what kind of favorites you have. It's a shortcut bookmark. You are done. You have to review it again after you get the PeopleSoft database instance back. Another thing is, okay, we technical part, we did one step further. In the Campus Solution instance, we create a shortcut single sign-on link to single sign-on to the Campus Solution. In Campus Solution instance, we have the single sign-on link to single sign-on to HR. So yes, that's the whole goal is two database, two PeopleSoft work like as one. So just like one link, you go to your function. One link, you go to jump from this database to another database.
I will show you showing that more.
Yeah, more in those communications. And also your query, favorite query may not be there because a lot of query, we have 12,000 queries. Some query is belong to the human resource. Some queries belong to Campus Solution. And for those ones, since behind the scenes, there is 7,000 table will be dropped from HR instance because they are Campus Solution data table. And there are 4,000 data table in HR, in the CS instance will be dropped because that's the HR data table. So the query impaction, yes, we do have a query impaction. If your query is a combination type of query, okay, you reference HR, also reference, okay, Campus Solution, student record, all in one query, those queries will get impacted. And currently we have 12,000 queries out there. That's why we are disabled a lot of query. Whatever query haven't been used for after the 16, okay, year 16, okay, 2016, January 1st, we disabled it. So By doing that, we reduce to, okay, only 4,000 queries we need to analysis and provide a resolution for those impacted queries. Probably around 200 queries get impacted. Then we come out with a resolution. So in here, in the query, and you will see, later on the HR will introduce, will introduce more in here. So I will not say too many. And for the splitter, we will have two icons. Right now, when you log into the administrative user, you will see one PeopleSoft icon for HR, and the same icon also for the Canvas solution. After splitter, we will have two separate different icons in the MyCoyote, the top left corner, yeah, quick launch area. That's how you see on here. The last thing here, okay, it's a contact telephone number. Our help desk team is our hub of our central hub, information hub. Okay, so whatever information, when you have any question, give them a call and they will direct you to appropriate needs. If you are functional question, if the technical question, they will redirect your call and your query to our technical phone.
Okay, so thank you, Tiffany, and thank you for your work on this project. Next, we're going to talk about specific changes that are related to the human resources system. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Tiffany.
But I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Ron. He'll start our presentation.
Good morning. Thanks, Tiffany. Good morning. My name is Ron Rodriguez, and I'm the HR technical lead on the project. Our goal today is to bring you up to date on the HR component piece of the project, as well as what you can expect on December 18th, 2017. So today we're going to cover introductions of the team. We're going to go over timelines. We're going to share new features of the system. Yeah, you can look back there if you want. We're going to identify impacted business processes as well as non-impacted business processes. And we're going to also go over some other deadline dates. And we're going to provide you with a checklist on what you can follow on the morning of December 18th, 2017 before you log in. And we're going to highlight upcoming projects and initiatives. And at the end, if you have any questions, we'll take them and hopefully we can provide the answers for you. Want me to continue? Okay, you can look on the back. Okay, the project leadership and sponsors starts with Sam Sudhakar from ITS. And I don't see Sam's here, so at the end of the presentation, I'll give you his contact number in case you can't log in on December 17th. You didn't hear that, Sam. And then we have Paul McNair from Academic Personnel. We have Cesar Portillo from the Human Resources area. And the ITS core project members are Lenora Rogers, Tiffany Chang, myself, Jenny Casillas, Laura Corrales, Andrea Beachco, I don't see her, Jeanette Flores, Cynthia Perez, and Dora Selva. Okay, now the campus subject matter experts are Karen Davis from Payroll, Lisa White from Human Resources, Alex McCluskey from the Budget Office, Danielle Apodaca from the Budget Office, Patty Aguilera from Financial Aid, Rodrigo Mercado from Human Resources, Tammy Sales from Academic Personnel, and Tammy Ditzel from Human Resources, and Sylvia Estrada from College of Extended Learning. And with that, I'll turn it over to Cynthia.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Cynthia Perez, and I provide project support to this project. I want to go over the CSUSB project timeline. I want to emphasize that PeopleSoft will not be available starting December 13, 2017 at 6 p.m. through December 18th at 7:59 a.m. Our target go live date is December 18th at 8 a.m. Once we go live, there will be 2 split environments, one consisting of campus solution, which is where the student data rates, and HR, where staff information resides. So we'll pass it on to Jeanette.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeanette Flores, and I'm also one of the team members for this project. And for us, we're looking at the new features for this project. As you can see currently, icon, we're looking at a picture of the current icon for HCM, and then you can see the tentative icon. So this is still tentative, and the technical folks are working on this piece. In addition to this, we can see a new change that's coming. Currently, you can see that there's no banner, but as of December 18th, you'll see that we'll have the branding CSUSB logo, which is a new change. In addition to this, we'll have the HR project single sign-on menu link. So you'll be able to navigate. This feature will allow you to navigate from one environment to the other. So that's a new feature that we want to give Tiffany Chang kudos for making this happen. So thank you, Tiffany. And so that's one of the new features. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Tammy.
Thank you, Jeanette. Hi, my name is Tammy Sells, and I'm the subject matter expert in academic personnel. The next topics we will cover are HR impacted business processes, such as assigning faculty to courses, SB custom menu navigation, query folders, and favorites. And so the next slide has snapshots of the curriculum management menu, which is now located, well, will be located on the CS Campus Solutions side. So for those of you with the role of assigning instructors to courses, you will need to go to the Campus Solutions side to access curriculum management to assign the instructors to courses. And just a final note that assigning the instructors to courses should be done prior to building their contract data in the temp faculty module. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Tammy Deitzel.
Yes, so to reiterate, this is Tammy Sells from Academic Personnel, who spoke previously, and now this is Tammy Dietzel from Human Resources. So it's great putting us right next to each other. So what I'm going to discuss is the SB custom navigation, which is mostly used by HR users. That navigation will now be housed in the CS side, the student side. So you need to make sure to go to the CS side to find your SB supervisor and your SB non-state, which are the 2 links that you use very frequently. Just keep in mind that those are now in the CS side. And then the next section, the query folders. So your HR queries are now all moved into one central folder, which is titled HCM PT 8.55. So all of your HR queries are now housed within that folder. Some queries that HR does use that we want to mention is in the CS environment are the DAX queries. Those queries are now housed in the CS side. So you will have to go to their side. And they're not just going to be disappearing. You'll actually, as you see on the screen, it says disabled CS query. That's how you know that it's disabled on the HR side and you need to go to the CS side if you still want to run it. So they're still there. You just need to go to the CS side to run it. Okay. And so one more slide. So also there's going to be another type of disabled. So in addition to that disabled CS side where you just have to go to the CS side, there's also just disabled, which you see on the screen. That just means that the query hasn't been run recently, so we've disabled it. And then the other portion is, so for any future queries that you guys are creating, you need to make sure to follow the new naming conventions. And I think you guys have already started doing this, but just going forward, we really need to emphasize that we need to follow these naming conventions. So the examples that are on here is SB_HR is how you should start a query name if it's in the HR side. If it's an SB_AP, that's academic personnel. SB_BA, that's benefits admin. And just depending on the type of query, just make sure you're following these naming conventions so that we can easily organize our files and folders going forward. And then I'm gonna pass it off to Doris Selva.
All right, thank you, Tammy D. I'm Doris Selva with the Technology Support Center Training Services Department. And I'm gonna continue a little bit on queries, but I'm gonna focus on the favorites that you currently use. So your current query favorites may not carry over. So you document that, either take a snapshot or write down the names of those queries that you have in your favorites. So when we go live on December 18th and you're checking your navigation, that you can find those queries and then set them up as a favorite. The other favorites that are affected are the menu favorites. So your current navigation your menu. So I'll just use manager self-service, then you go over to timekeeper and then timekeeper entry. So that favorite will not carry over. So you want to make sure that you document all of your navigation steps so that you can find it on December 18th and reset up your navigation favorites. So next, I will talk about some areas that will not be impacted in our business processes. First, it's security. You are not required to submit a CIA form for the split. All of the current security will be available as your role is today. It should be available on December 18th. So we encourage you to follow your navigation and test that out. Training, there's no additional required training to gain access on December 18th. However, specified users may be contacted by the subject matter expert for specific sessions. So for example, Tammy S. spoke about building contract data for your temp faculty, assigning instructors to courses. You may be contacted if that's your role for a private session to work with that team exclusively on how that process will run. We'll also have open lab practice sessions available upon request. So in PL 1104, we have a lot of computer stations. We also have some touchdown stations. So if anybody needs any assistance, wants to come in and practice, we are making that available. So we just want everybody to be comfortable as we go through this transition. And documentation, we are in the process of updating documentation and videos that will be impacted from the view perspective. So some of the navigation may not change, but our banner's changing. So we're updating those documents. So if there's any specific documents that you need, just let us know in ITS training services and we'll provide those for you. All right, so now I'll turn it over to Laura.
Thank you, Doris. Morning, everyone. I'm Laura Cartales from the Information Security Office, and my slide will be covering a few checklist items that you'll want to complete the day of go live before you log in. And being that we're not one of the first campuses to go live with the split project, we're benefiting from the experiences that the other campuses are having, to the effect of what Tiffany was talking about, in that they have recommended over and over again that the morning of go live, have all of our users clear their cache. Clear that web browser cache to avoid any quirky error messages or any problems that you have logging in. First thing you want to do is clear cache. I can't emphasize that enough because they've been telling us that over and over again. And what we've done in the slide is we've included a website for the MyCoyote eHelp Center that will give you details on how to clear cache according to which browser you're using. And the next item you'll want to do is, of course, log into your MyCoyote portal. Based off of which your access is now, you'll have either the CS icon, the HR icon, or you'll have both. You'll notice those two new icons, or well, one or the other, in your MyCoyote. So click on that icon, and the first thing you want to do is validate your navigation. You'll want to go through the items, of course, that you go through daily for your tasks. Make sure those navigations are there, those pages are available. Log in with, plug in a student's ID or MyCoyote employee ID, just to validate you can actually see the individuals that you usually see within your departments. And then you'll want to also set up your favorites. Was discussing your favorites will not be in the new environments once you go live. So within, maybe today or next week, jot down those favorites that you have, favorites queries, favorites pages that you have set up now, and then on the day of go live, set those up, because you'll have to know the navigation in order to set them up. A lot of people don't memorize the navigation because they're so used to using favorites. So get that navigation next week, jot it down so you can set those favorites that first day of go live. And lastly, you'll want to run any existing queries that you have, and of course follow the naming convention that's set up for creating new queries. This is something that we also want to emphasize, because a lot of us do rely on queries for the tasks that we complete. So if you are having problems or if you need assistance, you can definitely contact the Technology Support Center. They will issue a like a help ticket and assign it to the individual who can assist you if for some reason they can't assist you with the knowledge that they have. And we'll send it on over back to Jenny.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jenny Castillo. I am the HR Functional Lead for BCBI, and I will talk about the upcoming projects and initiatives through the CSU. How many of you know what the common HR system is? The CRIS system. Have you heard of CRIS? Yes? One? Okay. CRIS is the Common Human Resources System. It's a consolidated system that the CSU is looking forward to, consolidating all the HR systems into one big system throughout the CSU. So in order to get to that system, the consolidated system, we have to implement all these little mini projects that we're doing. And one of them is the split that we're completing on December 18th. The other one will be the quarter to semester, which is in progress right now, the conversion. And then we're also going to be looking at our processes and our data standardization. Because we're going into a consolidated system, we have to standardize what we're doing on 23 campuses. So we're going to have to start looking at gaps and position papers that are given to us to identify how we are different from the other CSUs. It's amazing, but we have 23 campuses and we all process differently. We all have something different. So that's what the CRIS project is, and that's why we're implementing all these projects at this time. So with that, if you have any questions, we're here. Our team is here. We have some team members out in the audience, and we're open to any questions. We're prepared. Yes.
Jenny, are those slides going to be available like on the website as a link to know where we're at on the update?
Yes, we're gonna have these available. They were emailed out. We're zooming it, and it's being recorded, and we will have these slides out and available. Yes. Any other questions? Are you gonna make it easy on me? We like this, our team. Okay. Okay. You have questions?
Okay, I understand you're gonna clone the production so that we can still view only in test environment.
Correct.
When will you be cloning? Because I'm concerned with the absence of business calendars. We need to cancel them before we do this. Is that correct, Ron?
Yeah.
Yeah. So are we going to clone before I cancel the calendars, or are we going to clone after?
We'll coordinate. Yeah, we'll coordinate that with you. So when we clone it, you can cancel them. We're going to have an environment, the old environment, if you have to go back to, just to verify anything. And so there'll be an environment on the old system.
So I'm just going to repeat the question for the recording. The question was, are we going to have a clone or a copy of our environment for those of you that don't know what cloning, a copy of production when we go down? Yes, we are going to have a copy of the production environment, and we will be working with different offices. And I don't know, Ron, do you want to repeat your answer?
Basically what I said was we'll coordinate that. So Karen can make sure that all of her calendars are closed. So any of the processes that you need to have completed before the clone, you should do. And because what we're going to do is we'll have a clone of that database. So if you have to go back to the old system to look at anything, you can. So it's going to be a point in time. So
and the time is planned to be on Wednesday night at 6 p.m.
So yeah, so that's the date. Keep that in mind. It's Wednesday at 6 p.m. It's going to be cloned.
Wednesday, make sure your calendars are closed.
Yes.
Are you going to address self-service and any impact to self-service?
We do not see any impact to self-service. You should still see the links and everything as is because it sits on the portal. So if you're going into production, into the actual environment to navigate through self-service, you'll see it on the HR side for address change, phone numbers, emergency contact. But the links should still be there on the portal when you log in on Monday the 18th.
The quick links that are at the bottom behind the quick launches, like go to enter absence or whatever, those links will know to go whether HR or student, depending on what the link is. So if you're doing an absence, it's going to go to the HR side. Thank you.
I believe you have a question that someone may have typed in.
Do you see it?
No,
Yeah.
it came down from the top.
It comes down from.
It's an awesome machine. You need more HR? Student side will be coming forward to help you with their.
As Lenore said, I am Julie Rogers. I am the Assistant Director of the Admissions Office. And I am happy to report that nothing has changed on ours. So if you are, right, this is hooray for us because a lot has changed as far as the application goes. But for this page, this is our one-stop shop. It is the admissions inquiry screen. I don't know how many of you use this or are used to using this, but it houses all of the applicant data. The navigation is still the same. However, your favorites will not be saved. So make sure that you copy the navigation so you can resave it in your favorites when we upgrade. The summary page, as you're looking at it, there's 3 different tabs. It houses the bio demo information on the student, basically their address, their email address, their phone number. It also houses the admissions decision statuses for the student that the admissions office puts in, the program plan that they're to and going to, the reason that the decision that the admissions office puts might be that they're still in APPL, which means that they're still in applicant status, or that they're in COND, meaning they're in conditional and they haven't finished. They may go into a DEIN status, which means it's a pre-matric status, meaning that they need to pay their confirmation deposit. And then the final status would be matriculation, and then they're ready to go to the record side, so the registrar side, so that they can go ahead and register for classes. The other portion that you'll see on this page is the recruitment category.
Just let me know when you need to click.
No, I'm good.
Oh.
We are still on that same page. The recruitment category is for students that are in special programs. We're able to identify, the admissions office identifies them. This student happens to be a degree transfer student, so we've clarified it there so that we can readily query information there. The student also is a PDC student. Some other students may have be an athlete that's housed there, or EOP applicant. So you can readily see where it says recruitment there, how we've identified that. Later down on the screen also identifies the institutions the student went to and whether the transcript has been received or is in progress. So those are really important functionality for our office. The other tab indicates test summary, and those of you that have security access to that page would be able to view test scores that are sent to for that student, and those basically involve SAT, ACT, TOEFL, GRD. All of those different scores would be on that page. The next tab is our checklist summary tab. And again, you would still need security for that. And those are basically the to-dos that the student would see on the portal. So if they go into their My Coyote and they view the portal, any of the checklist items that we have on there is what would be on their portal. And basically that's final transcripts, or we want test scores, or we want residency information. So you want to mute?
Can
I
you
think we can
please
hear
mute
you.
your phones if you are listening to this remotely?
And then lastly, I just wanted to talk about the two little icons on the top of the page. Can you go to the, I don't know where you're at. Oh, yes. Go back up.
Two icons?
Next page.
Okay.
The next page. No, back. All the way up. Yeah. Over to the side by the student's ID, that little icon that looks like a circle with a line through it, that is called a negative service indicator, and students can view whatever is on their negative service indicator through the portal. Those are basically holds that the student has that they would need to finish, that they would need to complete in order to register. And then the star icon is basically positive service indicators. The student would never know that they're there. They're for internal purposes, things that we put out there, different departments do, so that we can query information. So with that, those of you that use this page are familiar with all of the aspects that I just talked about. So the only thing I would suggest that you do is make sure that you save your favorites to it. If this is also a page that you don't have access to, that you feel that you could use for your processes, then you would need to go and fill out a CIA form, do the training, and we can get you access to the page. Okay? Okay. Amy.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Okay, so while we have you captive here, I'm going to use this opportunity to also reiterate that grades are due by 11:59 p.m. on December 12th. We have no wiggle room this time. We are going to start processing end of term processes by 9 a.m. on the 13th, because we have a small window of opportunity. Should we have a hiccup in running our processes, we need to have it done by 6 p.m. So please encourage your faculty members, your instructors to have their grades in. In the notice that was sent out to campus just a couple days ago regarding the grade rosters are ready, there was a note at the top in red that says when they are due, and should instructors have any issues whatsoever after 6 p.m. on the 12th, it is critical, essential, please. We included Melissa Cobb's both her email and her personal phone so that a message can be left, because that's going to be our go-to in the morning. We're going to clear out the messages, make sure that everyone is accommodated who had an issue, and then go forward with processing by 9 a.m. So again, please, that those messages that go out sometimes are not well read. So use your impact, your influence to get the rosters in, please. Okay, great. So as far as what has changed with records, we can point to basically one big change. And it's just the navigation of requesting okay, good deal. So it's right now when you go out to transcripts request, transcript request, that menu option will no longer be there. Instead, when you go records and enrollment transcript, it will be request transcript report. Now, I throw the language around like I know what I'm talking about, but we are going from the current supported version of our transcript, which is Crystal, to XML. XML is a completely different beast, and so that's all I can say about it, because that's as big as my knowledge is. But it's the XML version that we will be using going forward. So what you will do is basically the same. Once you click on that request transcript request, just as you do now, you will go to add a new value. You will need, we haven't found a workaround for the unofficial populating automatically, right, Joe? Not yet. Okay. So many of you have set defaults. Sorry. Many of you have set defaults that the minute this page comes up for you, it already says unofficial. For the time being, and maybe going forward, you will need to populate that field of official, but it will be the only option that you have. So please do that. Once you have done that, and I'm having a hard time seeing, I'm going to turn around. Okay, next one, please. Yes, okay, excellent. So you'll enter your student's ID just as you always have done. What I recommend, once the ID is entered, go ahead and tab or hit enter, and then it will populate your student's name. If for some reason you put in an incorrect ID number, one that doesn't exist, or it's for the wrong student, then you'll know right away. From that point, you're going to go ahead and hit process request. And what you're accustomed to currently is when it is done swirling, turning, you automatically land on the next tab that shows you the transcript. That, now we're going to have a big difference as far as that goes. You are going to have to click on view report. Thank you. Click on view report that Tammy is circling, jogging around there, and then the audit will come up. The transcript will come up. It is going to take just a teeny bit longer than you're accustomed to. The XML process is much more involved, and it is compiling the student's information behind the scenes, so we will need just a little bit of patience. We have not done, the ITS team has just done such an incredible job of providing us with this new transcript, but it will take just a little bit to bring one up. What I recommend is if you have a group of students that you need to review, where you enter your student IDs, go ahead and hit the plus sign at the far right and just keep adding for the number of students you need to review. Once you have processed it, then what we want to recommend that you do instead is process a report. Right, exactly, thank you, Tammy. And then go ahead and process your report and go to your report manager, and you'll have all this so that you can bring up a number of students at one time and then just arrow through them to review the information. It'll be the least taxing on patients when you're trying to get through a bunch of students, okay? Let me see, did I have anything else to add about that? The records office, we're here for you. We're always available. So we just want to make sure that it's a great transition to this new system, but a little bit different navigation, the process a little bit different, and then the need for patience is a little bit is essential. So we are definitely moving forward, but with progress sometimes, it's just different.
Growing pains.
Yes, growing pains, definitely. One additional, Tammy, do you mind? Oh, you're right here. Can you enlarge the transcript? This is Joe Coyote. He is our forever student who never makes any progress whatsoever. The actual people.
Oh, the transcript?
The transcript, yeah, thank you. The XML transcript. Just keep going on up.
Go on.
Well, I'll send something out. I'll make sure it's available because I didn't include the detail, but there is going to be a new field on the transcript below the terms, and it is the attempted value. That includes every course that your student has enrolled in for that term, whether it is a non-degree applicable course, if your student ultimately withdraws, it is still going to be captured in that attempted unit category. We have, and I can't see it right now. Okay, I'll send it out. I don't want to, but I'll send you the detail where you should be looking and how we are using the various fields to come to the GPA. Still using, you're still going to have a consistent GPA from what we had in the Crystal, but it's just going to present itself a little differently, and I apologize for not having a clear screenshot of that. So that's it. Any questions about transcripts real quick? Okay, excellent. Okay, now my good colleague Marilyn is going to continue.
Okay, I'm Marilyn Lemieux, the manager of Student Financial Services. And like admissions, we had very, very minor changes to the customer account page where you see all the students' charges and credits to their account. And that changes in 9.0. At the bottom of the customer account page, there was some links that were visible when you went to the page where you could see the anticipated aid or view the payment plans and other data. Well, in 9.2, it's a very simple change. They added a little link that you have to click on to drop down to get to those links that used to be visible when you went to the page. And then when you click on the account details, there was another minor change where in the past you used to be able to see what fees had not been credited on the account, where you see two lines. It showed if the fee was paid And in 9.2, they don't show that. You're gonna have to look at all of the charges and payments to determine which fees are not paid. And basically, those were the only two changes, but I did want to mention that the students have a payment due date now of December 19th. And although the portal is going to be down several days, our VP made a decision to leave the date as is. But if there's an issue when we go live on Monday the 18th, we will be extending that due date, just in case you have questions from any students.
And even though I don't have any slides for financial aid, we also have a representative here for financial aid. And did you want to say anything about financial aid?
Yes, my name is Lakeisha Rivers, and we don't have any changes that were made to our slide or to our financial aid pages. Most of the campus staff have access to, well, if they have access to financial aid, it's to the FA status page, and that page has remained the same from 9.0 to 9.2.
And you want to do it now or after questions? Okay, I just want to have Tiffany wants to say one more thing.
As you can see from those presentations, front end from your eyes, you don't see many changes. But actually behind the scenes, so many enormous changes behind the scenes. And it's totally rely on our technical team. Campus solution side, I will introduce, okay, Vanessa here. Okay, our Vanessa's there. And Joe, don't forget, we have over hundreds, and the Brian, we have over hundreds campus modification. And we have to migrate, recompile, rebuild it in our campus solution. That's how we make it. You don't feel things in wrong. It's still the same, it looks still the same, but actually it's very different. A lot of work is relied on them. Let's give them a pause. Without them, it won't happen. For the past 6 months, yes, they do hard work. Okay, so let me give the floor back to Ginola. So for the question.
Okay, yeah, so for the student side, do we have any questions, or for Mike Coyote, or any technical questions too? Anybody?
I just want to ask, what's the page that you were referring to with your changes?
The main customer account page. Yes.
Thank you.
I'm with the orientation office, and we have our registration goes through PeopleSoft, so I'm assuming nothing will really change. It'll be in the CS9. Most of our queries that were already created should already pull from those existing.
Yes.
Okay.
If you are talking about the SOAR, yes, it's there, and we already tested it working perfectly.
Okay.
Any other questions? So, yes.
Nothing changes to the student.
Yes, not from look and feel a little bit different, but every functionality is still the same because the new layout, the student center look like more clean, cliche, that's all we can see. All the functionality is still the same. Just sometimes page look like it's a little bit color, a little bit different. Lighter, the light blue, the blue part a little bit lighter. That's it. Yeah.
And if you're missing any of your pages that you don't see after the conversion, call the technical support center, and they will direct it to like security if it's a security issue, and you can see why your screen disappeared or any of those type of problems. So I am encouraging everybody to contact the technical support center so we can keep track of the tickets and get them routed to the right person in the time matter.
Regarding processes within payroll or HR, is that going to be a big time impact because of the window that we're going to be closed? I know we have to have data entry, like for making sure like termination pay, or so the people are in the system so they can get the paycheck at the end of the month.
Yeah. So what we did when we had picked this time frame, we checked with HR, we checked with student, and we found the best time for us to implement the process and with the minimal impact on our processes. So hopefully
Yeah, and specifically speaking to expiring appointments, I think that's what you're speaking of. A lot of the appointments expire at the end of the year. We're working HR, so this is Tammy April speaking from HR. We're working with payroll, Karen, to make sure that we're gonna meet those deadlines for our department, especially, I think expiring appointments is what you're probably referring to, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of process.
So really for the budget analysts in the departments, if we're sending you those expirations, you know, that you have people that are gonna expire at the end of the month or during this time frame, make sure you're working with your processor to really get those processed either before this go live date or right when that system comes back up so that we have everything ready and we can process as soon as possible. So anything we can get done before, hopefully we can get it done before. If not, have it ready for the 18th on go live date.
And one other thing, Debbie, we also, if there's an emergency, payroll, there's a workaround.
Okay.
We just need to talk to payroll and it usually goes through HR, but there's a workaround if needed.
Okay.
Have an emergency workaround.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Well, appreciate you guys taking your time to come today, and if you come up with questions later, you're always free to email me. My email is my first name, Lenora, at CSUSB.edu. I should have had that up here. I'm sorry. Thank you.
And also remind everyone that we do have PL45 if you guys want to go look at the system.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today, too. We're going to be leaving the session now.